Welcome to the 130th broadcast of the T-ROH show. It's your host, Keith. I got John with me. What we're going to do today is get right to it. I think you're going to like this one, folks. We're going to clear a lot of things up. First of all, Todd Kinnett. He there's a Facebook page out that says Todd Kinnett, wife beater. That was put out by Todd's son. Todd's son has been on heroin and there's some coke involved, I believe. Right, Todd?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. He's been on this for like the last 8 years. That's what Todd's son put out there on Facebook. Just the other day, just about 2-3 weeks ago, he also put out a video of a guy getting beat up in the back of a store and saying that that was Todd. Facebook took it down, but he's been doing this for a lot. And the reason is because Todd won't give him any more money. And when he didn't give him any more money, his wife turned on him. And one time he came in and attacked Todd, his son did, almost bit his finger off, and they arrest Todd. So, and then came back and said, oh, well, you threatened federal officers 2 years ago. It's not true. 4 years ago, or however long it was. None of that's true. Absolutely not true at all. However, when you have if anybody has ever had a son or daughter that's addicted, and you cut them off, because every time they come into your apartment or they come into your house, they steal things so that they can go out and buy more to kill themselves with, get Hep C or whatever else it is, or kill somebody else. They get more and more violent. And it gets worse and worse and worse. So he had a very enabling mother that would sit there and allow him to do the things he was doing and try to lie for him all the time on everything he was doing. It goes on and on. And how much are you into with this organization that keeps using Facebook as a forum to discredit and slander? Todd?
I don't understand that question. Can you please repeat that?
How much are you into Arthur and them? How much you pay?
David, over 20,000 in what was called consideration.
Okay. And then 1,500 for what?
$1,500 just to look at what the so-called international record that he had alleged to establish.
Okay. So it wasn't, you weren't able to see it anywhere on the internet or anywhere in so that was just a private organization. Nobody was able to see anything. You had to pay to see it. $1,500. Okay. So just so everybody knows, if there's anything out there, because Todd's been run through the ringer for the last, 3-4 years, or a couple years, I could say. And it's just, low blow to people when they do that. You don't, if you've never had an addicted child on drugs, seriously addicted, you don't know. You have no idea what people go through. So, I think they have a movie out about it. So you might want to go watch it, because it's a horrible situation. Okay. Now, by the way, folks, anything on Facebook is really notwithstanding. There's nothing there. It's just a social media site. So to be constantly plastering things all over Facebook, it's notwithstanding. Nothing. It's just all garbage. Basically, Facebook is full of garbage anyways. So We'll move on from there. There won't be any debate due to the fact that everything has already been settled. The United States and the United States of America have no issues to settle. There's nothing to talk about. Everything has already been settled. It's been well settled for the past 3 years. The United States doesn't seem to have any issue with us. We don't have any issues with the United States. We would tell you more. You might want to check out LinkedIn. Nobody has any issues with us. It's not a problem. Nobody complains. Nobody says that you're full of fraud. Nobody says anything. And these are people that actually matter, that could say something, but don't. They got no issues with us. We don't have any issues with them. We've never murdered anybody. We've never threatened anybody. Nothing. And all these are well settled issues. So for us to open up a debate with someone, the accused, that is so-called wants to try to be a third party to be able to sell some kind of BS product, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's kind of below standard. There's nothing that we wouldn't. What the hell would we do that for? However, we are going to address a couple of issues that may enlighten some people, just so they're not deceived by others that would intend to deceive. Okay, now we've got here we go. All right, got that part. Okay, first of all, we have to introduce you to Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt was a man who was a part of the Illuminati. It was called Illumination back in the day. In 1776, he wrote a Declaration of Independence. That's not the Declaration of Independence that everybody sees. It's another Declaration of Independence. And once again, we're going to show you instead of just claiming something and not showing you anything. We have gone over this before and we'll do it again. Go take a look at your dollar bill. It's on the back of your dollar bill. Okay? Insignia of the Order of Illuminati that Illuminist Jefferson made on the reverse of the U.S. seal. Then we're going to show you another thing that a lot of people don't know, have not seen that particular video that we put out. The above insignia of the Order of Illuminati was adopted by Weishaupt at the time he founded the order on May 1st, 1776. It is that event that is memorialized by the MDCCLXXVI at the base of the pyramid. That would be this right here. Everybody thinks this has to do with them and the Declaration of Declaration of Independence of 1776. How wrong you were. And not the date of the signing of the Declaration of Independence as the uninformed have supposed. Now, I didn't write this. This was Roosevelt's manifesto, Communist Manifesto. The significance of the design is as follows. The pyramid represents a conspiracy for destruction of the Catholic Church and the establishment of a one world or UN dictatorship, United Nations dictatorship. The secret of the order, the eye radiating in all directions, is the all-spying eye, not the all-seeing eye. That symbolizes the terroristic Gestapo-like espionage agency that Weishaupt set up under the name of insinuating brethren, to guard the secret of the order and to terrorize the populace into acceptance of its rule. This Ogpu had its first workout in the reign of terror of the French Revolution, which it was instrumental in organizing. It is the source of amazement that the Catholic electorate tolerates the continuance of the use of this insignia as part of the Great Seal of the U.S. Annuit coeptus means our enterprise, conspiracy, has been crowned with success. Below, Novus Ordo Seclorum explains the nature of the enterprise, and it means a new social order or new deal. It should be noted that this insignia acquired Masonic significance only after merger of that order with the Order of Illuminati in the Congress of Wilhelmsbad in 1782. Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, ardent Illuminists and defender of Adam Weishaupt, proposed the above as the reverse of the seal on the face of which the eagle symbol to Congress, which adopted it on June 10th, 1782. Where did they adopt it? Think about it, folks. Where did they adopt it? Congress of Wilhelmsbad. That's where they adopted it. That was going on during the Articles of Confederation. That was a separate body completely, which means it is a separate timeline from the 1776 Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, 1781. That was all. It wasn't completed till 1781. It was written a few years earlier. There was also a revolution. Then it was stopped in 1787. It was not seceded by anything else. It was just completely stopped on a separate timeline. It was the only government that was created after the Revolutionary War, wherein all the people in the states had social compacts to create their states and then created a confederacy. That's a completely separate timeline. On the adoption of the Constitution, Congress decreed by Act of September 15th, 1789, its retention as seal of the United States. It stated, however, by the State Department in its latest publication, the subject 2860, that the reverse has never been cut and used as a seal, and that only the obverse bearing the eagle symbol has been used as official seal and coat of arms. It first was published on the left of the reverse of the dollar bill in the beginning in the New Deal in 1933. What is the meaning of the publication of the outset of the New Deal of this Gestapo symbol that had been so carefully suppressed up to that date that few Americans knew of its existence other than a Masonic symbol? It can only mean that with the advent of the New Deal, the Illuminati, socialist, communist conspirators, followers of Professor Weishaupt, regarded their efforts as beginning to be crowned with success. In effect, this seal proclaims to the peoples of the U.S. that the entire power of their government supports the conspiracy to undermine and destroy it and the Constitution on which it rests, that it is a government of traitors. They call it a government, we call it a company. And that's exactly what it is. It's a company. Always has been. How is it a company? We're going to show you from the beginning. Okay, imagine, say, Hillary Clinton was a original secretary, or was a secretary of state. She's not in office anymore. Imagine she gets together with Obama. I'm just throwing names out there. Names that people would remember. Couple of other people that are out of office in the U.S. today in the company. House of Representatives, maybe 39 of them get together. They all get together. They were former office holders, and they announce to everybody, this U.S. Constitution is not going to make it. It just isn't working, folks. We're going to go ahead and have a constitutional convention, and we're going to amend it because the thing sucks. So the U.S. House of Representatives that are there now, they all get together, and the Senate gets together, and all that stuff that are there in office, and they go to some kind of convention, or they don't go to any convention. However, these 39 people show up that were in office at the time, at one time, but not now. And they get together, and it's a secret meeting, and they all sign this Constitution, and then they come out and say, it's not amended, by the way. It's a brand new one, completely brand new. Not anywhere near what the other one was. And they say, okay, this is your new national constitution. We're the government now. That's the new government, and you guys are going to ratify this now. Okay? And that's it. Now, would anybody see that as being legitimate in any way, shape, or form? Everybody turn around and go, what the hell are you people talking about? Because you've already been sold on the U.S. Constitution. You've already been sold on that. So you're thinking that's the government, right? So you've already been sold on that one. But if somebody were to do that today and 39 people show up that were in office at one time and all sign a new a brand new constitution, but they said, no, we're going to go ahead and amend this one. But they come up with a brand new one, and they all sign it and come out and say, okay, this is your new constitution. Would everybody think that was normal? Would everybody even look at that as being legitimate in any way, shape, or form? If they were, they need to get off the drugs. You need to get off the Kool-Aid and the sauce, because that wouldn't be legitimate at all. That's what happened. The Articles of Confederation were going to be amended. Most of the delegates that were in office at the time didn't even show up because they didn't want to amend them. They knew it had to be done, but then they went to this BS convention, and all of a sudden, all these former people that were in office at the time, or at one time, were sitting there, and they're looking at a brand new constitution. They go, none of our people signed this. None of our people even voted for this. This is all a sham, and we're out of here. And they did. They left. So most people believe that the 39 that signed it, go look this up, because we've already covered this. The 39 people that signed it were in office at the time, and they weren't. That's what they thought. And that's how you've been told. But none of that's true. So there was no succession between the Articles of Confederation, because there was a Congress of Wilhelmsbad, completely different, that was playing this Illuminati crap in parallel with the Articles of Confederation. Had nothing to do with it. But they sold it to everybody. Oh, this isn't working out. Oh, why not? Because the Illuminati was sabotaging things at the time, because it'd be easy to do back then. They didn't have the communications we have today. They'd have been caught in a matter of 5 minutes today. But back then, nobody knew it. So they sold it and they sold it. But essentially what it is since it was never created with the social compact, it was never a national government, and it's always been a company. And you can go on Dun and Bradstreet, you can go in all these places and look at it, and it says company corporation since 1787. And I think John calls it a military oligarchy coup, wasn't it? Or a takeover?
It's a political induced military coup that created an oligarchy.
Okay. An oligarchy meaning the guy who was the president, only his relatives can be president after that.
His relatives and bloodlines, correct.
And that's been proven. That every president since then has been a cousin or distant cousin of George Washington.
Except one.
Who was that?
Van Buren. Van Buren's the only one that wasn't of that bloodline.
Well, he was Dutch, right?
Yes, he was Dutch.
Well, there you go.
just to correct the record, keep it straight.
So that tells you everything right there, that it was the company. Okay? So, folks, there is no succession. There was no succession. It just went into committee because when the United States and Congress assemble, according to its rules, when they were not convened, a committee took over, and that committee just stopped. Also, the Office of the Postmaster General under the Confederacy, which we have Benjamin Franklin's uh, um, his notes, his records, that the last one was Ebenezer Hazard, and he died in 2000 or 8. I'm sorry, 2000, 1817, with no successor. And those were the people that had the original states, and all those states were under a social compact that created those states. So that line of succession stopped right there. And what we did was we just went back and picked it up. Now, how do we know that we're sitting in parallel? That's the whole thing. How do we know that? Let's go forward. Right here, the interdependence, and I'll show you what this is. This is a Declaration of Interdependence of 1976. The interdependence assemblies, their concluding consultation, the convocation will provide the initial 1976 program agenda for the bicentennial era, paralleling the 13 years matching the period between 1776 and their final adoption of the U.S. Constitution of 1789. The interdependence assemblies. These are all people that follow Adam Weishaupt under a completely separate parallel line. Okay, so era paralleling. Parallel. That means it was going on while something else was going on. They were able to keep this quiet for a very long time. It has nothing to do with the Masons because the Illuminati took the Masons over. And then they just blamed the Masons that you guys were Illuminati to clear out all the good guys in the Masonic Lodge and fill them all up with people that love the dark, that serve darkness. They don't serve the light. Okay? So it's paralleling. So when the meets and bounds and seaward boundaries were done, it was done under the name of the United States of America, which matched the Articles of Confederation. And all we did was bring that part forward to the present time. And guess what? Guess what, folks? The guy who did that doesn't have those meets and bounds. That was all given to the government of the United States of America once it was revamped. It had its first elections. So everybody had a chance to claim their part and lot of it. No dictatorship. Nobody's claiming the country for their own. No individual, independent person is claiming the country. So that's it. If you can't get over that, well, tough. It's the way it works. And the key is there was no succession between the Articles of Confederation of 1781, which everybody gets all this stuff confused because they don't know about this other organization that has been paralleling the Articles of Confederation and the original states. Those original states have remained empty or without people for a very long time until now. So it's in their documents. They wrote them. We had nothing really to do with it. We just took it and then we put it out there and we showed people here it is. We're going to go ahead and do this now. And guess what? Been going on for 10 years. U.S. doesn't seem to have an issue with it. The United States hasn't said a word. They know that we're operating in parallel, and that's the difference between light and dark, and that's it. Nothing to it. So why bring it up now? When all these issues have already been settled. And we moved on, just like anybody else would. And the only thing we have left, we're able to take cars out of the country, acknowledged by them. We have all the paperwork to prove it. And all the issues we're having now is just money. That's it. Nothing else. It's the money that we're having issues with. And a lot of times we'll have issues with the state side, because the federal side, we don't have any issues at all. They don't have any issues with us. We don't have any issues with them. It's the state side, that the states, lower locals and all that. Those are the people that are a pain in the ass, because they're extremely, they think they don't know that they're on the traitor side of the organization that they think they're a part of, or that they believe that they're a citizen of. They don't know that they're on that traitor side. So they operate, and anybody that, anybody that says different, oh, you must be this and you must be that, and blah, 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 blah. They have all their ideas, and it's very difficult to educate them, because they're very stubborn. Because a lot of courts are like about the money, and we all know that they have their own municipalities that they created under home rule charters outside of the states. A lot of them don't even know that. There's a lot of ignorance going on. So that's where we have issues. But other than that, we don't have any issues. And we're not going to allow issues to be started by an opportunist. So, that being said, we're going to change the subject quite a bit and share some things that I think that people are going to really need to know. Okay, here we go. We've been reading this woman's book, Mary Kay Baxter, and her description is the divine revelation of hell. We've been reading it. While we've been bashed for like the last month, all the way up to attempted murder. And I mean seriously bashed. Way over the line of anything that's decent and kind. Way over the line of anything. It's just been ongoing every day. We watched this, Mary Kay Baxter, the divine revelation of hell, where she was brought to hell for 40 days. Now, people will come in and go, I don't believe that, I don't believe that. I don't care if you believe it or not. I really don't. That's not the point. I believe it. I don't think this woman's lying. She's been in 120 different countries and 89 different languages. This has been her revelation, and her books have been translated into. And there are a lot of people that do believe it. That is really hard to make up. Very difficult to make up. It was extremely detailed. This caused me to reflect my life. This caused John to reflect on his. And I want to tell everybody that I believe it so much that I'm telling you, Yahushua, Jesus Christ, that's all real. Every bit of that is real. Every single bit of it. Jesus is real. Everything he said, and that he said he was in that New Testament, is absolutely 100% correct. He is not a liar. He's absolutely a man and a God of his word. How do I know that? Because I got on my knees, asked him to come into my life, said I wish to repent. 3 days later, he did. And it felt like it's something you can never describe. Really describe. It was like a page was turning and a wave goes right through you. And all the guilt that you felt throughout your lifetime of the things you did when you were younger and all that is all gone. Every single bit of it's gone. That's not a joke. That's extremely serious. Every bit of it's gone. He does answer to Jesus. According to Mary Kay, he does answer to Jesus. And he does do exactly what he said he's going to do. The way to get to the light, to get out of this darkness. And once you understand this, you're going to know that everything on television is just a distraction. It was put there so that you won't serve him. Everything's a distraction. Your career, that's a distraction. Oh, I need to get a college degree. I need to go do this. I need to go. That's all a distraction. You're here to do one thing and one thing only, is make your choice. That's this is what was given to me. Your choice was, will I serve the light or will I serve the dark? We changed this to, do you accept Yahushua Jesus Christ as your Messiah, Lord, and Savior? Right over here at the Reign of the Heavens Society Temple International. We changed it because it's true. Every bit of that is true. Not because some book said it. It's because I lived it. And so did you, John, right?
Yep, sure did.
And it happened to you around the same time it happened to me. That was the thing. That was the weird part. Around the same time.
If I hadn't believed it in the beginning, I wouldn't have never signed the document stating his innocence.
Right. But actual following through with it and actually being there with him.
Yep.
That came a little while ago, a couple of days ago or whatever.
Came a little bit further down the line. That's correct.
Right. And then to be filled with the Holy Spirit, that's absolutely true too. It doesn't happen at the same time. At least it didn't to me. It came through. Wasn't like it was when I was 8 years old and in church. Okay, you know, when all that just came right off you and everything else, and you felt great for a while. It wasn't like that at all. This was something completely different than that kind of experience to me. It was real. Everything was real. You could feel the miracle energy. You could feel what he was doing. You could feel that he was washing you with blood. You could feel all of that, which I never had that feeling before. And then you could feel the Holy Spirit coming in you after all that was washed away. You could feel it. And all you have to do is choose. Okay. We changed the declaration of faith here and added in John 3:16 through 19. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Perish means go to hell. That's what that means. Go listen to what Mary Kay Baxter was saying, and the words he was using. We read her book too, completely all the way through. It was 16 chapters. But have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because they have not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but people loved darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. And we're in the middle of this transition. We're in the middle of the choice. Make your choice. And I would highly suggest that you choose to serve and or not love the darkness and serve the light and love the light. I'm telling you, folks, that's real. And when we describe what was going on, we've been describing it in committee all week, you know, and as it's each time this is happening, like when the washing of the with the blood and the whoosh, you know, and it felt like just somebody just put their hand in you, and it goes all the way down to like the deepest part of your soul and your spirit and just wipes it clean. And then the next day, the Holy Spirit comes in and fills your body. Since it's all wiped clean, it fills your body and fills your soul and your spirit all the way down to the minute atom. It fills everything. And it's real. You can feel the miracle happening. You can feel everything happening. It's a different kind of energy. And Yahushua, Jesus Christ, he does exactly what he says he's going to do. He was a man of his word when he was here, and he's a God of his word now. Whether anybody likes it or not, we started describing this on there, and 2 other people came forward and said, that's exactly what happened to me. Then one of them said, wait till you get to the Holy Spirit. That's an amazing feeling. It's the same exact thing happened to him. He described the same exact thing. And he said people just aren't seeing it. However, if you watch this movie, find her on YouTube or go to her website, you can see all of her videos, and she describes everything in grave detail. And I want to publicly thank Mary Kay Baxter for going through what she went through and having to suffer the way she has based on the memories and the compassion, because this whole deal helped me find my compassion again. That was always there. It was just buried due to all the things that happened to me as in my life. And if anybody else have had that, your compassion's there and it comes back. I've been without compassion for a long time, but I have that now. I found it. It was shown to me again. So it's just ironic that we've been being bashed by this group of people. Lies upon lies, unbelievable amount of lies, twisting and turning everything, bashing Todd, making stuff up, not understanding what the background of that is, just come out and start laughing. Oh, he's a wife beater. Just evil. It's evil. But we had to go through this. In the temple, Reign of the Heavens Society Temple is now complete. This was added to our Declaration of Faith. And we use his original Hebrew name and the name that he is known by now. But he does answer to both. And many people will come back and go, you guys are using Jesus, Zeus, and all this other stuff. No, he answers to that. The real one answers to that. Just ask Mary Kay Baxter. He answers to Jesus. And the miracles do happen. And he does do exactly what he says he's going to do. And he was and is exactly who he says he is. He was not a liar. And everything did happen regardless of how the demons try to hide the history so that they've got you. And that's what they're trying to do. They have you in their grips and they want to pull you down to where Mary Kay Baxter went for 40 days. Well, 30 something days, I think. Then there was 15 days she went to heaven. And there have been other people that have described it the same exact way. And then they said they came back and they knew there was a hell. Hell's real, whether anybody likes it or not. And we're going through a cleansing. Your heart will be found out. And if you love the darkness, just go watch that video. And if you think that you've been made a deal, and that old boy Satan is going to keep up his side of the bargain, don't think again. You better watch it. Mary Kay talks about it. And each and every one of those cases that they went and saw and listened to these people as to why they were there, I've seen those cases happen today. I've seen them. I've witnessed them. I've even thought some of them. Nah, he wouldn't do that. The Most High is gracious and he's loving. He wouldn't put you there. They mean business. And I'm telling you right now, they mean business. They're not playing around. They're going to clean this up whether anybody likes it or not. They mean business. And I would suggest people start taking this seriously. And they even talked about all the aborted babies, the over 60 million babies, where they went and how they were taken care of. And described the place they went to. All these babies that are being aborted. Killed, murdered, torn apart, skulls crushed, all that. And then you see the doctor coming out. I'll show you that video. Here we go.
Friends, I pray, sir, you gotta repent, sir. You gotta repent, sir, for murdering babies.
Why?
Because it's a sin before God.
Why?
Wow.
Stinky breath.
Yeah,
Why?
that's pretty evil of you, sir.
Yeah, I am.
And I hope and pray that you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do to babies, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I hope that you come to Christ, sir.
Oh, I never go to Christ.
I hope that you come to Christ,
No,
sir.
I don't go to Christ.
Yeah,
I don't listen to Christ.
You will have a darkened heart, sir.
I do have a darkened heart. Yeah.
You have a darkened heart.
I do very, very much so.
And you will stand before God in judgment day.
Yes, I will. Every day.
You will stand before God in judgment day.
Yes, I will. Every day.
All of the babies that you
I
have
love it.
killed.
I love it.
Yeah, keep tearing the babies
Yeah,
apart.
I will.
Keep tearing the babies
I
apart.
will.
Dr. Centeno, you gotta
Keep tearing the babies apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. The babies, their blood screams from the ground.
Folks, you're getting hints all over the world of what's going on. It's time to set aside your feelings of distrust and your feelings of being made a fool of. Don't be afraid of that. You can trust him. I'm telling you, and I know that from personal experience, you can trust Yahushua Jesus. You can trust him. He does exactly what he says he's going to do. He does it, and it's real. Everything he said was real, and it's come to pass. Now, I may be made fun of and mocked, which I expect completely, but I don't even care. I really don't. All I'm going to do is tell you, you got demons all over you. And they're going to push you to mock, and they're going to push you to do all kinds of vile things. Say things that aren't even true. None of it's true. Just make things up. Create straw men of people and all these things. They're going to do that. And I don't care whether you mock me or you make fun of me. Rock and roll. Don't care. But I know the truth. I know what I've experienced in my own personal life. John has said the same thing. Another two people said the same exact thing. They said, yep, that's exactly how it happened with me. The exact same thing happened to them. Nothing changed. and you can't describe it until you've been through it. You just don't understand until you've been through it. You just gotta, if and it doesn't matter. He would even forgive Hillary Clinton and all the Moloch worship and all the baby eating and drinking blood and all that. He'd forgive her. Everybody has a chance. No matter what you've done in the past, no matter what you have done, he's a man of his word. If he said all you got to do is turn to him and clean it up. You got to clean up your life. Clean up your bed. Quit having orgies and quit having swingers clubs and all, and all this stuff that everybody's doing. All you got to do is stop. I don't care if you've done 50 porn movies. I don't care what you've done. Because he said, and you can trust him, that he'll forgive you and you don't have to suffer what Mary Kay Baxter has witnessed. Other people suffering. You won't have to suffer that. The stuff is real, folks. And that's my witness. That's my testimony for y'all. We were going to go through some Robert Gilman stuff and all that. As of right now, I personally don't care, and I don't think John does. I don't think anybody else really does, because the priority here is Yahushua and Jesus, and that's the real deal. You can serve the darkness or love the darkness, or serve the light and love the light. All you have to do is use your choice. And I hope this gets to the right people, because I'm not a religious man. I've stopped going to church when I was 9 years old. I'm not a religious guy. But I know what's real. I know what I went through. And it didn't happen right away. It's 3 days. I got on my knees every night and asked, would you come into my life? Could you please come into my life? I want to repent. And I want to serve the light. I want to love the light. 3 days. And after the second day, I said, well, I've had no answer, so I'm just going to keep doing it until I do. On the third day, it happened. So just letting everybody know what's been going on since all this other violence has been going on the other side, calling the government a fraud, calling this, calling that, whatever. Don't care. These matters have been settled. We're not going to bring them up again. And the last thing anybody needs, and the last thing anybody deserves, is to be murdered for some silliness that they're claiming. No one's done anything like that to be murdered over. That's evil. That's demons. And I'll put this link on there at the bottom of the page. And we'll show you this video. We won't show you this video now, but you can go look at it. I'll put a link down there. This guy right here. We'll show you this video. And once you've been through this, I know exactly what that man is saying. I know exactly what he means, and I wholeheartedly agree with everything he says in 6 minutes and 46 seconds. And the accused has no idea that we're literally trying to still help them after all the vile lies that have been published or put in Facebook about us. Still trying to help him. And we'll continue to try to help him. All of them. All the accused. Because I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't know about you, John. I don't know about you, Todd. But I wouldn't wish that kind of future on my worst enemy. I don't care what they did. But listen to what he's saying. If you read the book, 16 chapters, Listen to what he's saying. And he's very clear about it. So it's time to come around. I'm not worried about other religions. I'm not worried about all that. I just know what I went through. And there's nothing anybody can say to me to change my mind. There's nothing anybody can say to me to try to convince me that it's wrong. It's there. And once you've done it, you'll feel the same way. Just letting everybody know. Thanks for listening to the 130th broadcast of the T-ROH Show. Did we cover everything, John?
Yes, I think we covered everything pretty much.
All right. Go watch the video. Mary, just sit 40 minutes. Mary Kay Baxter. Listen to what she's saying. She's right. She's not lying. So just do that. It'll be the best 40 minutes you've ever seen, and then you'll begin to see everything around you. It'll wake you up and begin to see everything around you on exactly what's happening to you and what you're seeing on a daily basis. What keeps you occupied to go live throughout your life and never ask to repent, never ask for forgiveness, never say that you're a sinner, because you're going to say, well, I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't hurt anybody. It's not what it's about. You got to go see it for yourselves. And just highly recommend it. I cannot say enough about it. Okay, thanks for listening to the 130th broadcast of the T-ROH Show. We will see you guys next week.